Did you know LEGO once had its own anime-style theme with giant robots and crazy battles? Yeah, that was LEGO Exo-Force. Back in 2006, it looked like the perfect mix of LEGO and anime, and for a little while, fans were obsessed with it. But then, it just disappeared. No big announcement, no big finale, just gone. In this video, we're going to talk about what really happened, why it didn't last, and why people still remember it today. Before we dive in, make sure you hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Let's dive in. The birth of LEGO Exo-Force. So, let's rewind to 2006 for a second. LEGO was paying close attention to what fans were doing with their bricks, especially the adult builders. And what they saw was pretty wild. People were building these massive anime-style mechs, like straight out of Gundam, Dragon Ball Z vibes, Pokemon Energy, Yu-Gi-Oh! Flair, you name it. It wasn't just cars or castles anymore. It was full-blown robotic warriors with pilots, storylines, and drama. And LEGO thought, all right, let's not just watch. Let's make our own thing. And they didn't just test the waters. They went all in. Their idea? The very first LEGO theme entirely focused on human-piloted mechs, machines that felt like anime robots brought to life with bricks. And not only that, they weren't just going to sell sets. They cooked up an entire storyline to go with it, one that had layers almost as deep as their legendary Bionicle line. That's how Exo-Force was born. The world of Exo-Force wasn't some random backdrop either. No, it was Sentai Mountain, a place where humans and robots once lived side by side. Peaceful, cooperative, all good vibes, until the robot's advanced AI, called Mecha 1, decided, nah, humans don't need to be in charge anymore. Boom. Rebellion. The mountain literally split in half. And suddenly, survival wasn't just about living, it was about fighting back. That's where the humans rallied under Sensei Kaken, this wise leader guy who assembled a squad of mech pilots. Hikaru, Takeshi, Hayato, and Ryo, each of them flying these specialized mechs designed to push back against the robots. They weren't faceless soldiers either. Each pilot had their own backstory, personality, and quirks. And for kids back then, this wasn't just about building sets, it felt like you were part of something bigger. Think about it. When was the last time you built a LEGO set and felt like you were literally fighting for the future of humankind? Yeah, that's the kind of vibe Exo-Force was going for. The magnificent machines. Now, let's be real. The real magic of Exo-Force wasn't just the story. It was the mechs themselves. These things were insane for their time. Take the Stealth Hunter, for example. Piloted by Hikaru, it was sleek, futuristic, and came with cloaking tech. LEGO actually represented that using translucent elements. At just 164 pieces, it somehow managed to feel bigger than it was. That set basically became the face of Exo-Force. Then you had Takeshi's Grand Titan. This thing was a beast. Huge shoulder cannons, bulky proportions, and a design that made it feel like it was ready to rip through a robot army at any moment. On the villain side, the Thunder Fury came in swinging. Dark colors, sharp lines, and this intimidating posture. It was pure menace in brick form. No one had to ask, is this a bad guy mech? You looked at it once and knew. But the real showstopper? The Fire Vulture. An aerial combat unit with giant turbines strapped to its body. It looked like it could actually fly, even though you built it out of bricks. And the industrial, almost gritty design of it made it stand out from the sleeker human mechs. It was LEGO showing off its range, and fans noticed. And here's the detail that blew minds: the features. These weren't just stiff models for your shelf. The first wave in 2006 introduced power cores. Basically, light-up bricks that connected to weapons with fiber-optic cables. When you flipped the switch, the mech literally glowed like it was powering up for battle. Tell me that wouldn't make you lose your mind as a kid. I mean, come on. If your LEGO set lit up when it went into battle mode, how could you not feel like the coolest pilot on Earth? Digital battles. But LEGO didn't stop with just physical sets. They went digital. And for 2006, this was pretty ambitious stuff. The Exo-Force comics? They weren't just little side stories. They ran monthly from 2005 all the way through 2008. Every new wave of sets came with new comics that expanded the plot, introduced new enemies, and tied directly into the sets kids were building at home. And then there were the webisodes. Produced by Ghost Digital Productions, these short animated clips aired on Nicktoons. They gave the characters actual voices, personalities, and life. Hayato wasn't just a name anymore. He was a hot-headed pilot you could watch argue with his teammates. Rio wasn't just a side character. He was the brainy tech guy who actually mattered in the storyline. For what was technically promotional material, the production value was surprisingly solid. Smooth animation, legit fight scenes, and story beats that actually made you care. If you were a kid who just bought one set, suddenly you wanted the others too, because you wanted to see how the story unfolded. And let's not forget the online games. Lego.com had browser-based Exo-Force games where you could actually pilot the mechs through environments straight out of Sentai Mountain. For kids, this was like bonus playtime, without even needing more bricks. By 2007, Lego pushed the Exo codes. Each physical set came with a code you could punch in online to unlock exclusive content. Wallpapers, mini-comics, story pieces. Today that sounds like every other toy tie-in, but at the time, it was cutting edge. Basically, Lego wasn't just selling toys. They were building a whole world and inviting you to live in it. The downfall and declining sales. But here's the sad part. Despite everything Exo-Force did right, cracks started to show by 2007. The second wave of sets introduced bigger builds, like the epic Bridgewalker Versus, White Lightning, and even the massive Sentai Fortress. And don't get me wrong, they were cool, but for some reason, the hype just didn't carry over the way Lego hoped. Sales started slipping. After a strong 2006, numbers in 2007 didn't meet expectations. And by early 2008, Lego made a pretty rare move. They came right out and admitted the theme wasn't working financially. Usually, they just quietly discontinue stuff, but with Exo-Force, they actually explained it. 2006 had been good, 2007 fell flat, and no amount of marketing was going to save it. That announcement basically marked the end. The final wave in 2008 took the mechs into the jungle. Sets like the Stormlasher and Chameleon Hunter were genuinely innovative, with new colors and flexible parts that would later show up in other themes. The designs were pushing boundaries, but it was too little, too late. And worst of all, the story never got closure. Sensei Kaiken was left captured in the jungle. The war against Mecha won, completely unresolved. Fans who'd invested in the online comics and webisodes never got to see the humans finally win. Imagine being a kid, following the saga for years, only for the series to just stop. No ending, no final battle, just silence. That's how Exo-Force wrapped up, the legacy of innovation. Exo-Force introduced a ton of new parts that Lego would keep using for years. The joint systems, the robot arms, even those spiky anime hairpieces that some people laughed at back then, they all became collectible. And collectors today, they'll pay serious money for them. More importantly, Exo-Force proved something crucial to Lego. Fans wanted deeper storytelling. It wasn't enough to just build a castle or a car. People wanted to feel part of a world. They wanted narratives that stretched across multiple sets, multimedia tie-ins, and characters that mattered. That lesson basically laid the groundwork for Ninjago. When Ninjago launched in 2011, it followed the Exo-Force playbook: comics, web content, animated series. And unlike Exo-Force, Ninjago absolutely exploded into one of Lego's biggest success stories ever. You could argue Ninjago wouldn't exist in the same way without Exo-Force showing Lego that kids actually craved that blend of story and build. So, what do you think? Should Lego ever bring back Exo-Force, maybe with today's tech and storytelling? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching.